This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away from 16th to 20th of January 2017 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Miguel Ferrer, he was born in February 1955 and he died in January 2017. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from cancer. Miguel Ferrer was an American actor known for his gravelly voice and for playing intense, often sarcastic characters. He was memorable as the ambitious corporate executive Bob Morton in RoboCop and was the cynical FBI agent Albert Rosenfield in Twin Peaks. Ferrer also had a long-running role on NCIS Los Angeles. Charles Bobo Shaw, he was born in September 1947 and he died in January 2017. His age was 69 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Charles Bobo Shaw was an American jazz drummer, a key figure in the St. Louis avant-garde jazz scene. He co-founded the Human Arts Ensemble and was known for his innovative and energetic drumming style. Shaw was a significant contributor to free jazz. Steve Wright, he was born in 1950 and he died in January 2017. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Steve Wright was an American bass guitarist known for his work with the Greg Kihn Band. Wright had played in a band called Traumatic Experience with El Cerrito native John Suniberti and Jimmy Thorson. After changing their name to Hades Bluesworks, they expanded into a quartet with Craig Ferrara in 1970. William Margold, he was born in October 1943 and he died in January 2017. His age was 73 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. William Margold was an American adult film director, producer, and activist, a prominent figure in the adult film industry. He was a co-founder of the Free Speech Coalition and an advocate for performers' rights and safety within the industry. Margold was a controversial but influential voice. Roberta Peters, she was born in May 1930 and she died in January 2017. Her age was 86 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was Parkinson's disease. Roberta Peters was an American operatic soprano, a star of the Metropolitan Opera for decades. She was celebrated for her beautiful voice and her stunning coloratura technique, singing roles like the Queen of the Night in The Magic Flute. Peters was a beloved and enduring presence in the world of opera. Edwin Pope, he was born in April 1928 and he died in January 2017. His age was 88 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Edwin Pope was an American sports journalist, a legendary sports editor, and columnist for the Miami Herald. He covered major sports events for decades and was a respected voice in sports journalism. Pope was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Eugene Cernan, he was born in March 1934 and he died in January 2017. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Eugene Cernan was an American astronaut, naval aviator, and the last man to walk on the moon. He was the commander of the Apollo 17 mission in 1972, leaving the final human footprints on the lunar surface. Cernan's role in space exploration made him a significant figure in human history. Wayne Barrett, he was born in July 1945 and he died in January 2017. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was lung disease. Wayne Barrett was an American investigative journalist known for his relentless and in-depth reporting, particularly for The Village Voice. He was a leading chronicler of New York City politics, with a focus on powerful figures like Donald Trump. Barrett was a tenacious reporter whose work had a profound impact. Joey Powers. He was born in December 1934 and he died in January 2017. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Joey Powers was an American pop singer and songwriter whose record, Midnight Mary, reached number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. In early January 1964, Powers had no further hits and is known as a one-hit wonder. He later became a booking agent, recording studio owner, record producer, and church leader. Tommy Tate. He was born in September 1945 and he died in January 2017. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Tommy Tate was an American soul singer and songwriter who had 3 hits on the R&B chart in the 1970s. Known for his powerful voice and his work on the Malco and Checker labels, Tate began his career in his early teens as a drummer and singer. He made his first recordings on the Rise label in 1964. Tate also wrote songs recorded by Luther Ingram, Bobby Bland, Johnny Taylor, Isaac Hayes, Little Milton, and others. Chuck Stewart. He was born in May 1927 and he died in January 2017. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Chuck Stewart was an American jazz photographer renowned for his iconic inmate portraits of jazz legends like John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, and Miles Davis. His photographs captured the essence and emotion of jazz music. Stewart's work is a vital part of jazz history. Brenda C. Barnes. She was born in November 1953 and she died in January 2017. Her age was 63 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was stroke. Brenda C. Barnes was an American business executive who served as a CEO of Sara Lee Corporation and held a high-ranking position at PepsiCo. She was a prominent female leader in the corporate world, known for her business acumen and management style. Barnes broke barriers in the food and beverage industry. William A. Hilliard. He was born in May 1927 and he died in January 2017. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was congestive heart failure. William A. Hilliard was an American journalist, a pioneer in the newspaper industry. He served as the editor of the Oregonian newspaper and was the first African American to hold that position. Hilliard was a respected voice in journalism and an advocate for diversity in the newsroom. Phyllis Harrison Ross. She was born in August 1936 and she died in January 2017. Her age was 80 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was lung cancer. Phyllis Harrison Ross was an American psychiatrist who pioneered programs for developmentally disabled and mentally ill children. In the 1970s, she hosted a talk show and co-hosted a radio show that educated parents. After 9/11, the World Trade Center attack, and Hurricane Katrina, she helped victims recover from disaster-induced mental illness. Jack August. He was born in January 1954 and he died in January 2017. His age was 63 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Jack August was an American historian and author who served as the Arizona State Historian. His work focused on the history of the American West, particularly water rights and policy. August was a respected scholar who contributed to the understanding of the region's past. David P. Buxton. He was born in July 1920 and he died in January 2017. His age was 96 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. David P. Buxton was an American lawyer and politician from Camden in Kent County, Delaware. A veteran of the Second World War and a member of the Republican Party, he served as the 15th Lieutenant Governor of Delaware from 1957 to 1960, as the 63rd Governor of Delaware from 1960 to 1961, and as the 37th Attorney General of Delaware from 1963 to 1971. Harry J. Middleton. He was born in October 1921 and he died in January 2017. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Harry J. Middleton was an American journalist and library director. He had a career in journalism before becoming the director of the Lyndon B. Johnson Presidential Library, a position he held for over 3 decades. Middleton was a devoted custodian of the Presidential Archives. James S. Velasco. He was born in April 1934 and he died in January 2017. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. James S. Velasco was an American press secretary and public relations professional known for his work with prominent New York politicians. He served as a press secretary for Governor Hugh Carey and was a respected figure in New York state politics. Velasco was an influential voice behind the scenes. Yuji Ijiri. He was born in February 1935 and he died in January 2017. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Yuji Ijiri was a Japanese-American accountant and economist, a highly influential figure in accounting theory. He developed the concept of real-time accounting and made significant contributions to the field. Ijiri was a respected scholar and professor. Lucy Killia. She was born in July 1922 and she died in January 2017. Her age was 94 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Lucy Killia was an American politician who served in both the California State Senate and on San Diego City Council. A Democrat, she was known for her advocacy on environmental and social issues. Killia was a respected and long-serving public servant. Kenneth McNaney. He was born in December 1935 and he died in January 2017. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Kenneth McNaney was an American rancher and politician. He served in the South Dakota House of Representatives from 1987 to 2000 and in the Senate from 2005 to 2008. He also served on the local school board. Lawrence S. Margulis. He was born in March 1935 and he died in January 2017. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Lawrence S. Margulis was an American judge who served on the United States Court of Federal Claims. He had a distinguished legal career contributing to the federal judiciary. Margulis was a respected figure in the legal community. Alec Devon Crider. He was born in May 1991 and he died in January 2017. His age was 25 at the time of his death, and he took his own life in prison cell by hanging. Alec Devon Crider was an American convicted murderer who, at age 16, killed his classmate, the classmate's parents, in a brutal home invasion. The murders were a sensational crime that shocked his community. Crider took his own life while serving 3 consecutive life sentences. Robert Timlin. He was born in July 1932 and he died in January 2017. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Robert Timlin was an American judge who served on the United States District Court for the Central District of California. He had a long and distinguished career on the federal bench. Timlin was a respected jurist. Charles Leitake. He was born in February 1931 and he died in January 2017. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Charles Leitake was an American soldier, a recipient of the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions as a chaplain's assistant in the Vietnam War. He later became a peace activist and returned his Medal of Honor in protest of United States foreign policy. Legate's life was a testament to his evolving convictions. Dan O'Brien Sr. He was born in March 1929 and he died in January 2017. His age was 87 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Dan O'Brien Sr. was an American professional basketball executive who served as a general manager of Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners, and California Angels of Major League Baseball (MLB). Of O'Brien's three major league teams, only the Rangers of the late 1970s experienced sustained success, contending for but never winning the American League West Division title. Tyrrell Burton. He was born in November 1929 and he died in January 2017. His age was 87 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Tyrrell Burton was an American football player, coach, and radio broadcaster. He played halfback for Ara Parsegian's championship team at Miami University in 1954 and 1955, and led to the undefeated United 1955 team in rushing, scoring, pass interceptions, kickoff returns, and punt returns, while breaking the university's all-time single-season scoring record. Craig Howard. He was born in January 1952 and he died in January 2017. His age was 64 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Craig Howard was an American college football coach who served as the head coach at Southern Oregon University, leading the team to a national championship. He was a successful and respected coach in the college ranks. Howard's leadership brought glory to his university. Volz Truly. He was born in September 1935 and he died in January 2017. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Volz Truly was an American professional baseball player, a shortstop who had a brief career with the Detroit Tigers in Major League Baseball. He played in the big leagues during the 1940s. Truly was a part of baseball's history. Rhett Adams. He was born in October 1921 and he died in January 2017. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Rhett Adams was an American professional baseball player and coach who pitched for the Los Angeles Dodgers and later had a long and successful career as the team's pitching coach. He was a respected figure in baseball known for his expertise in pitching. Adams was a dedicated member of the Dodgers organization. Gene Olaf. He was born in September 1920 and he died in January 2017. His age was 96 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gene Olaf was an American professional soccer player, a goalkeeper who played for the United States national team. He was a pioneering figure in American soccer, a member of the United States team that competed in the 1950 World Cup. Olaf was a dedicated athlete and a part of American soccer history. Bill Fisher. He was born in March 1927 and he died in January 2017. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Bill Fisher was an American professional football player who was a lineman for the Chicago Cardinals of the National Football League from 1949 to 1953. He was a first-round pick by the Cardinals in the 1949 NFL Draft. With the Cardinals, he was invited to 3 Pro Bowls. Michael Goldberg. He was born in March 1943 and he died in January 2017. His age was 73 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Michael Goldberg was the executive director of the National Basketball Coaches Association in the United States for more than 30 years. He began as a general counsel for the fledgling American Basketball Association in 1974 and later helped engineer the merger of the National Basketball Association and American Basketball Association in 1976. Dick Starr. He was born in March 1921 and he died in January 2017. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Dick Starr was an American professional baseball player, a pitcher who played for the New York Yankees and other teams in Major League Baseball. He had a career in the big leagues during the 1940s and 50s. Starr was a part of baseball history. Harry Minor. He was born in March 1928 and he died in January 2017. His age was 88 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Harry Minor was an American professional baseball scout and manager, known for his long career in baseball. He was a respected scout who discovered and signed numerous talented players for various Major League Baseball teams. Minor was a dedicated figure in the sport. Kolo. She was born in December 1956 and she died in January 2017. Her age was 60 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Kolo was a western lowland gorilla, renowned as the oldest gorilla in the world at the time of her death. She was the first gorilla to be born in human care at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Kolo was a beloved animal and a symbol of conservation efforts. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.